So I'd like to invite all my artists up, and I think they're scattered. So can we give them all a yoo-hoo on the count of three? We'll give them a yoo-hoo. 1, 2, 3. Come on up, everybody. I know you feel a little shy, but when I look around me, what I see here is just a circle of loving companions here welcoming our artists. So thank you everyone for coming to the Queer Ancestors Project 2018 exhibition. Yay! So I have had the extraordinary thrill of having a front row seat as this art has emerged into the cosmos. And it's been extraordinarily thrilling. And I'm going to have the artists introduce themselves and then answer a couple of brief questions that they developed as good sort of questions to answer. And I'd like to thank Strut for providing this fantastic space for these artists to occupy the Castro. Can we hear it for occupying the Castro? Yes. And I'd also like to thank SOMARTS and the Queer Cultural Center, who've been supporting the Queer Ancestors Project from the very beginning. I'd like to thank the Horizons Foundation, Southern Exposure, Zellerbach, and I'd like to thank the San Francisco Arts Commission, which is sponsoring our newest class, taught by the fabulous Celeste Chan here in the red. And Celeste will be in a bit giving a few words about that. So, without further ado, I'm going to ask our artists to introduce themselves, share their pronouns, and tell us their favorite new thing.
Hi, my name is Princesa. I am they, them. My favorite new thing is Renaissance art.
Yes, girl.
My favorite new old thing.
Hey, my name is Ben. My pronouns are he, him. My favorite new thing is the Black Panther movie that's about to come out because whatever.
My name is Cedar. They and he. My favorite new thing is gold eyeliner.
Hello, my name is Jay. I like to switch to mom, he, they, Nancy/Slater pronouns for me. I can't think of any new things except like the new thing for me would be like friends coming out to see me and the little ones. So loving that part of it a lot. I've never really done this before.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Benny Avalos, and I go by like he, she, or they, whatever you're feeling. And my favorite new thing is, other than like Princesa's crown, it's probably just like this new craft that I took up of like carving and drawing and stuff like that. It's a new art form, so I'm excited to keep going.
Hi, I'm Jorge or Mata. My pronouns are they, them. My favorite new thing is my housemate's cat, Thor.
Hello, I'm Shannon. Pronouns are I don't care, I guess I like it when you mix it up. Favorite new thing is also probably Jorge's cat,
Fantastic. Well, this is, I think, a particularly important moment in history for us all to be connecting with our queer ancestors, understanding their histories of oppression, connecting with and knowing their histories of extraordinarily creative resistance. So thank you all so much for coming here tonight and supporting these artists. And we will begin with the question, one of the things that moves me most running this program is seeing how each individual artist figures out how to connect with their queer ancestors, and they all do it in profoundly different ways. One trucks off to the GLBTQ archives and reads the actual diary of one of their queer and trans ancestors. Another artist discovers like incredibly powerful emotional resonance in the life of one of their queer and trans ancestors, from suicidal thoughts to having erotic, orgasmic responses to all kinds of things in life, and so creates prints about that. Another artist lets the queer and trans ancestors flow through them and move their arms as they create the art. And we have everything in between, and that's what I find like really extraordinary. Not only like the visual art that these artists create, but how they figure out how to forge those connections. So our first question for the panel is, how did you respond to the prompt of connecting with queer and trans ancestors? And being a little shy.
So I studied in college a lot of ethnic studies and sociology, and it led to a lot of self-discovery. And what I learned about myself is that it's like more than just a box, and it's more layered and dimensional. So that being said, I feel like Gloria Anzaldúa is like somebody that I studied a lot, and she mentions that like queer people really connect every race, religion, language, age, economic class, and so I really draw strength from that, because like despite the bloodlines that the people on the walls have and like their physical features, like they paved the way for all of us, you know, and I think there's power to be harnessed in realizing that, and when people don't know their history, that can be directly correlated to why they're oppressed or why they have less rights. So it's important to like not ask for permission when we're claiming what's ours.
Hello again. I think for me, I was intimidated by the prompt for queer ancestors because it felt like I wasn't really sure who my queer ancestors were. And then at some point it felt like I did a lot of reflecting of like what I grew up with, what I got to know. I think my art is more true-size, so one of them was Noir. And I was thinking of a show I watched when I was a younger kid, and I thought of like, how does she relate to queerness for me, being the creator of humans? I thought of like Guan Yin, who is someone that my grandma cherished, and it was like my keepsake when she passed, and I thought like, what did all this mean for me to never come out to her, and like, and dealing with other feelings. I also thought of like a friend I lost in November, early November before TPOR, which is Trans Day of Remembrance, and in my third print I thought of like what it means to dedicate the print to her. She's a trans woman of color, and she's someone where being near her and being around her energy allowed me to be them in the ways I feel able to feel it. And I thought how we connected with queerness, feminists, and magical girls, and more.
How did I respond to the prompt? I definitely went into it not really knowing what I was going to make, and not really thinking about ancestry in a broader sense, which this class has definitely helped me to do. Yeah, I really responded by thinking more about everyone who has influenced me in things that I've read a lot, and finding kind of the first time like hearing other stories that I was like, whoa, like I feel that, and so kind of exploring that in that way.
For me, something that really interests me about queer and trans history in our community is the resilience of it, and how we've overcome so many struggles, and how we're here today because of the struggles that our ancestors fought against. And so I kind of went into the project thinking about certain people who I felt really embodied that sense of resilience and kind of breaking lavender ceilings, so to speak. And then something that I loved about the class was like that I felt like a lot of my peers were taking the prompt in much more kind of like, you know, creative, and like my first couple of prints were really biographical, and a lot of other people were doing really fun, like not specifically about a certain person projects. So I kind of started to get a little more ethereal in that way and come up with like some other, I don't know, metaphorical meanings of queer ancestry.
So for my project, I decided, hi y'all, thank you for coming so much, appreciate it. Hey, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm going to answer the question. So for mine, I decided to approach the prompt by celebrating people who are currently alive. And so as future ancestors, I asked, what is words of wisdom for next generations, or words that you would have said to a younger self? And so my prints on this side kind of show these words.
So, how'd you like to introduce yourself and share your pronouns and tell us your favorite nickname?
Nani, Monica woman, she, her, and
Rich deep. But you can always go with Louise's crown if you want.
yeah, honestly, I walked in princess's outfits.
Right.
And I was inspired by, for one of my prints, I was inspired by historical research, and I wanted to sort of create a piece honoring the story of something that already has been pretty well documented. And then I was thinking about, for my next piece, there were a lot of other stories that were documented that I considered, but I eventually wanted to make a piece that was more about my relationship to studying queer ancestry, and that was more about how I see queerness as part of my spiritual practice, and how ancestors play into that, how a lot of that is based upon what I've learned from researching historical queerness in Judaism, ways that ancient texts include queerness and how that plays into my life. And then my third print was inspired by that concept of wanting to create a visual record of a queer past that definitely existed, but we don't have any record of. So in contrast to my first one where I did some research, I found photographs and information specifically on these people's lives. We know they were in a relationship. My third print is more ambiguous about who's involved because we don't know any names of any queer women in ancient or even more recent in the century Judaism. We don't have any visual documentation of their relationship, so I wanted to put that out into the world.
Fantastic, thank you. I'm going to turn the mic over here.
So, my take on the prompt was, I guess, more freeform. I didn't really take influence of like specific people, more on like theories and like behaviors and just like observatives and like mythology. I think is like really important to like come back to yourself and also like research your culture and like queerness that like involves all kinds of like things in it. So like coming back to that and like researching who you are was like really important, and having this opportunity to like have a creative outlet to be able to express was super important. So like more so just like play than anything for me. So I think that was really important.
Okay, so I see that we have a lot more people trying to get in, so I think I'm going to wrap up the panel at this point, if you all are okay with that, so people can see your art. I'll say just a few more things. One is that we have some surveys going around. There's a print sale over in that corner, and if you fill out one of these surveys, about every half hour we're going to do a drawing, and you can win a print of your choice. So find someone with a little basket carrying surveys around. Judy? Okay, great. Serena, yeah. They'll be carrying around, and Judy's there. Yay, there's Judy. Fill out a survey, get it in that basket. We're going to have a drawing very soon. And then I'd also like to mention that we have 2 Queer Ancestors workshops coming up. I will be teaching another QAP printmaking workshop starting in August. You can find out about that at queerancestorsproject.org. And starting next week, the fabulous Celeste Chan will be teaching a Queer Ancestors Project writing workshop.
So, before I let you all go, I just have been thinking a lot about what if every young queer person got to learn about queer culture as a history of resistance? Or what if every young queer person, queer or trans person, got to learn about writing by watching Sylvester dancing in rainbow rhinestones? Or reading resistance texts post-Orlando. So I am seeking writers, officially 18 to 24, but I'll take if you're 18 to 25. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming, and before we dissolve, let's all give a nice yoo-hoo to all our ancestors. 1, 2, 3.